Welcome to all of you who are joining us online tonight. We are so grateful that you have joined us, and just a reminder of where we are as a nation, as a global community. We are still to adhere to the instructions that our leaders are giving us. Please stay at home. COVID-19 is serious. And we pray that God is going to lift this cloud very soon. But continue seeking God in this time. Serve Him in this time. He is faithful. He promises never to leave us, nor forsake us up to the end. Thank you. We want to thank God again tonight for allowing us to meet in this way. We hope you spend the whole week very well. We hope you listen to what God was saying to you this past week. Let's continue from where we left last week. Remember, we are dealing with a very important topic, the invisible war. We are in a war that our eyes can't see, and at times we can be blinded and take slow paces, and yet God expects us to be faithful in this time. Turn with me again to the book of Ephesians, where we started dealing with this topic. Read with me in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 12 to 13. The Bible reads, "For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against the evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against might powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Put on every piece of God's armor, so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Then after the battle, you will still be standing firm." Last week we did mention some few things that I want us to begin to look at tonight. We did mention that we are to understand the biblical dynamics of spiritual realities. If we don't, we will make ourselves more vulnerable to evil powers. We will also be much less confident in God's ability to deliver us. The truth is that there is an invisible war, and there is an invisible world that is just as real as the visible world. I spoke to us last week when I talked about Elisha and the servant. That story is found in 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 15 up to 17. And I did conclude last week by comparing two things, God and Satan. Last week I said God steals us in this situation. Satan pushes us. God reassures us. The devil frightens us. God leads us. Satan pushes us. God enlightens us. Satan confuses us. God forgives us. Satan condemns us. God calms us down. Satan stresses us up. God encourages us. Satan discourages us. God comforts us, and Satan gives us worries. We are in that environment where there is too much uncertainty, and I want us to be aware of where we are and which other voice you hear from. It could be God giving you comfort, or the devil pushing you to do certain things that you don't need to do. We need to be aware that this is a war, and it is spiritual. What is spiritual attack? How do we begin to identify that we are being attacked by the enemy? A spiritual attack is a series of events coordinated by the demonic realm in order to abort promises of God, to shipwreck our faith and oppress a believer and stall our destiny. These are coordinated plans of the enemy. He works it that way. That is his plan. John chapter 10, verses 10 says, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. We should be aware of these tactics. His aim to abort the promises that God has given us, to shipwreck our faith and oppress a believer and stall our destiny. Paul says it very well in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 11. He says these words, we need to be mindful lest Satan should take advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. He has plans. He is planning even as we speak right now. The word of encouragement to all of us is that we need to understand we are not alone. Our Father in heaven is with us in these difficult times we are living in. One of the primary tricks of the enemy is to get a person deceived and not realize the depth of what is taking place in their lives. And that's where we are today. His plan is to deceive us and for us not to realize the depth of what is taking place in our lives. The COVID-19 is one of the examples, but this is not a new phenomenon. This happened years back. It happened, but God is faithful. He was faithful then. He is faithful now. He will be faithful to us, even in these difficult times. Remember, his plans, he wants to make sure that we are not aware of his tactics. Oftentimes, people assume that the struggle they are facing is just a natural battle, yet just beneath the surface, there is something far more complex taking place. As we're looking at things right now, they seem to be just as if it's normal, but there's something, there are layers beneath that we are dealing with, and our eyesight can't catch that. And no wonder we need to ask God to open our spiritual side, that we may be able to comprehend the beneath, the issues that are undergoing underneath, because those are the things that bring a lot of pain to us. They are under spiritual attack. And these are all attacks, the enemy. We are seeing from the natural. But good news is, our God is faithful. He will carry us through during these difficult times. Demons are organized under Satan in hierarchical levels known as rulers, authorities, powers, and spiritual forces. That we gather from Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 to 12. Demons are able to speak. Demons are able to take shape. Demons, they are able to be visible at times, especially in the human bodies and any other things that the enemy can lie in. So we need to be aware the war is real. Though our eyes can't see, this is real. I want to encourage you tonight. You are not alone. You serve a God who promised he will never leave you. You serve a God who has all the powers. You serve a God who is not surprised with the things that are happening around us. So therefore, I want to encourage you tonight that we are on safe hands. Fear not. God is in control. Listen to what John says. John chapter 12, verse 31. John says, Satan is the ruler of this world, and the demonic forces under his charge seek to oppose the work of God in every way possible. He is in charge, according to John chapter 12, verse 31. The Apostle Paul warns us to be of sober spirit, be of alert, because our adversary the devil prowls out like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. That we find in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 up to 9. The devil is rolling. The devil is speaking. The devil is bringing all these things around us to make sure that he can devour our lives. Cheer up, child of God. Cheer up, child of God. This battle has not taken God by surprise. He is in control of it. Yes, the war, though our eyes can't see it, our Father in heaven is able to detect what is coming our way. Demons are masters at pushing the right button at the right time. We must not be ignorant to the strategies of the enemy. We cannot live our lives with our spiritual eyes shut. It is suicidal. When our spiritual sight are closed, we are endangering our own lives. Hence, we need to understand our spiritual sight should be open, because it's out of the spiritual sight that we are able to see what the enemy is doing right now. He was defeated. He is defeated. He shall be defeated. This is what God promises. He is still on the throne. My brothers and sisters, fear not. Fear not. Our Father is in control. We must walk in the Spirit and be aware of what is taking place right now around us. Otherwise, if we don't, he is going to be feasting on us. He's going to destroy us. He's going to do everything within his power to control our minds, to control our belief system, to make sure that we begin to play with his game. We are conquerors. We are victors. We are not victims. Even in this situation, the very situation of COVID-19, we are not victims. We are victors. Cheer up, child of God. Trust him even more in these difficult times. Friends, I want to encourage us. This is a realm of reality that we can't see with our eyes, where the real battles of life takes place. We need to be aware of that. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's a lot. And I want to challenge us to begin to ask God to open our spiritual sight. There is a visible and invisible world that intersect, and we live in that intersection. There is no coincidence. This situation we have found ourselves in, it is not a coincidence. Satan and his demons are causing all the havoc in our families, in our world, in our countries, in the church itself, and including in our relationships. I have come to tell us, to encourage us, we are not alone. You are not alone. These things that are happening to us, he is in control of them. I want to thank you for listening today. I want you to be trusting God every step of the way, because he promised never, ever to leave nor forsake us up to the end of the world. Shalom. God bless.